The best of Money Matters. The Big Story.
Welcome to The Big Story. I'm Hongbin Jeong. Starting April 1st, Singapore Airlines and Scoot will ban passengers from using or charging power banks on board, citing safety concerns. Now, this decision follows a series of in-flight incidents involving overheating lithium batteries, including a case last year where a power bank caught fire on a Scoot flight from Taiwan, injuring 2 passengers. Now, globally, other airlines such as Thai Airways, AirAsia, and several South Korean carriers have also introduced similar restrictions. Many travelers are now left wondering what exactly makes power banks a risk, and will we see even stricter regulations in the future? Well, joining us today is Associate Professor Palani Balaya from the Department of Mechanical Engineering at the College of Design and Engineering at the National University of Singapore to help us understand the risks associated with power banks, the reasoning behind the ban, and what it means for air travel moving forward. Hi, Professor. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you, Hongbin.
All right, Professor, what do you think about Singapore Airlines' and Scoot's decision to, ban the use of power banks to charge personal devices on board?
Yeah, that's a good decision to avoid potential risk during flight travels. According to International Air Transport Association dangerous good regulations, power banks are now classified as lithium-ion batteries. I would use lithium-ion batteries rather than lithium batteries. So we see similar risk in power bank as lithium-ion batteries. So that's why I say that it's a good decision.
I see. But what do you think could be the main reasons behind this decision from a safety perspective? And why implement this ban now, despite, power banks having been widely used on flights for years?
Yeah, good question. As you know, lithium-ion batteries are known to have fire risk because of various abuse conditions. When I say abuse condition means if you exceed electrical charging conditions or operating at a higher temperature called thermal abuse condition or mechanical abuse conditions like subjecting it to several vibrations kind of thing, then they are known to have fire risk. But some lithium-ion batteries are safer than a few other lithium-ion batteries known in the industry. However, as you know, the flight management cannot differentiate them, and hence there is always a risk. So that risk has to be avoided by bringing such regulation.
Okay. Well, help us understand the potential risks associated with overheating or malfunctioning of power banks in confined spaces like an airplane cabin.
Correct. So lithium-ion batteries, as I just now mentioned to you, they are subjected to thermal runaway or fire incidents, to put it simple, when they are subjected to electrical, thermal, or mechanical abuse conditions. And as you know very well, cabin is a mini vibrator kind of thing. It's just, it is sort of shaking at certain frequencies. So I'm not surprised that a fully charged lithium-ion battery placed in a cabin would generate more local heat that cause such fire incidents. I hope this message is clear.
I see. Well, with recent incidents of power banks catching on fire, does it have to do with the mechanics of the power banks overall, or does the, quality, whether it's a low quality brand, add to the risks as well?
Yeah. So these are the two details that comes to our mind, whether it is, power bank mechanics or is it because of the low quality lithium-ion batteries used in the power bank. So my opinion is it is the quality of lithium-ion batteries that we have to be concerned.
Okay.
Having said, one more thing is, that the power bank involves a certain BMS, that's called battery management system, which will control the upper cutoff voltage and lower cutoff voltage while charging and discharging. So these electronics can also have some impact because of vibrations. So that also cannot be ignored. But the primary cause is the low quality lithium-ion batteries used in power banks.
I see. Well, it looks like passengers can still carry power banks in their cabin baggage despite the ban, but they won't be allowed to use them in flight. So why allow them on board if they're still considered a risk when, being charged? Wouldn't banning them outright be a more effective safety measure here?
Okay. So let us recall, what is allowed within the cabin. Up to 100 watt-hour power bank is allowed. If you want to go up to 160 watt-hour, then you need special permission from air carrier.
Right.
If you want to carry beyond 160 watt-hour power bank, that's just not allowed, forbidden. So that means you are allowed to, that's what you said, you are allowed to carry certain a certain capacity power bank. But you are not allowed to use them. This is your question, right? Mm-hmm. That's a good question, in fact. But when you keep the power bank in the idle conditions, particularly not in the fully charged condition, this is very important. Now, you should not carry the power bank in 100% fully charged condition. There is still a risk. So if you are able to carry 40 to 50% charged power bank, and if you don't use them, they are safe, actually. That shouldn't be a problem. But, if you start using them, they behave differently than in their idle condition. That means unused condition. Mm-hmm. And then if you are carrying 100 watt-hour or with permission 160 watt-hour, if there happen to be any unwanted fire incidents, that can be actually controlled because the amount of heat generation is relatively low. The management, the cabin management have the capability of, putting off the fire if at all there is any such incident.
I see. Well, as you mentioned, customers may carry power banks with a capacity of up to 100 watt-hour on its planes without special approval, while those between 100 watt-hour and 160 watt-hour require airline approval. Why might those between 100 watt-hour and 160 watt-hour require airline approval?
Yeah, as I said, the amount of heat generation is proportional to the capacity of the battery. Mm-hmm. A lower capacity battery will generate lesser amount of heat. So you want to carry beyond 100 watt-hour up to 160 watt-hour. They will have more heat generation than the 100 watt-hour power bank. So assuming that there is a fire incident, and then we are talking about the amount of heat that is generated. So that's the worst scenario, actually. So if you are carrying above 100 watt-hour, there is, more risk than the power bank, which is lesser than 100 watt-hour. It's relatively easier to manage.
I see.
To control the fire incidents.
Right. Well, aside from Scoot and SIA, we've also seen other airlines such as Thai Airways, AirAsia, and several South Korean carriers to introduce similar bans. Is this part of a larger industry-wide shift then, and do you expect more airlines to follow suit?
Yeah, this is going to be the industry-wide shift. As you know, newer lithium-ion chemistries are introduced, that too in larger formats and larger sizes. So we must have a control on such items within the cabin, as well as checked-in bags to avoid major fire incidents. Mm-hmm. So you know that power banks are not now allowed to check in your checked baggage.
Right.
They are only allowed to be carried in the cabin. That too not to be used for charging your battery or for charging any of the electronic items.
Right, I see. But for passengers on long-haul flights who rely on power banks, what alternatives then do they have now that charging power banks is banned? Could airlines provide safer in-seat charging options, or is there a broader shift away from, allowing personal charging devices on flights at the end of the day?
Yes. So when you are on long-haul flights, you don't have to rely on your power bank. You do have a safer in-seat charging options. You can actually use them. The advantage is that they are programmed in such a way that lower current is used for charging your mobile phone or for charging your laptop, etc. So that way, it is relatively safer than using a power bank to charge your mobile phone.
Well, Professor, the U.S. FAA has also reported a rise in lithium-ion battery incidents on planes, with 3 overheating cases recorded globally every 2 weeks in 2024, up from just 1 per week in 2018. Does this data suggest that lithium-ion battery safety is becoming a more pressing concern for airlines?
Certainly, no doubt. As I said before, we had a pretty decent experience because of highly reliable battery technology that is known. But I did mention a few minutes back that more and more new lithium-ion battery chemistries are introduced, and that too in different formats, and hence the risk factor is moving up. And so certainly there is a pressing concern for the airlines when they talk about power bank as well as lithium-ion batteries within the cabin.
I see. Well, given that passengers can still bring power banks on board but cannot use them, what other safety measures should travelers still take note of, to prevent overheating incidents?
So this power bank must be protected from damage or creating sparks or dangerous heat during, when they happen to carry them in the cabin. Also, as I previously mentioned, one should avoid charging these power bank 100% before their flight.
Okay.
40 to 50% charging is recommended.
I see. Looking ahead as well, Professor, do you see further restrictions being placed in aviation as well?
Certainly, there will be more and more restrictions related to lithium-ion batteries in aviation sector as we move forward.
I see. Well, thank you so much, Professor, for your time and your insights today.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you. That was Associate Professor Palani Balaya from the Department of Mechanical Engineering of College of Design and Engineering at the National University of Singapore. This has been The Big Story with me, Hongbin Jeong.
To listen to more great interviews, download our podcasts at audio.sg or download the audio app. That's AWEDIO, audio at the App Store and Google Play.